An engineer notes that two survey markers form a triangle with his current position. The angle formed by the engineer's lines of sight to the survey markers is 62 degrees. If the survey markers are 1,250 meters apart and the engineer is 870 meters from one of the markers, how far is the engineer from the other? Okay. So I've already drawn my picture. So here's my engineer, my two markers that are 1,250 meters apart, and then I just chose to put the 870 here and then make this my x. Now if you reversed those two things, completely fine, we're still going to get to the same final answer. Okay. Now if we are trying to find this side, that means that we have to know this angle, but we don't have two angles. So we're going to have to do some intermediate steps again to find what the question is asking for. So looking at my picture right now, I have an angle and a side across from it, and I have a side. So that means that I can find this angle across from it using the law of sines. So to set that up, doesn't really matter what we label that. So let's see. So I'm just going to use the sine of M2, because that's what my vertex is labeled, over 870. And then that's going to equal the sine of 62 over 1,250. Okay. So I'm going to cross multiply. So I would have 1,250 sine of marker 2 equal to 870 sine 62. Now I'm trying to get this by itself. So the next thing I need to do is divide by the length. So that 1,250 to both sides. So that means that I'm going to have the sine of marker 2 equals 870 sine 62 over 1,250. Now remember, to find an angle measure, we have to do the inverse. So now what we are doing is we are taking the inverse sine to both sides. So these two things cancel out. And then to get this angle, that marker 2, I'm going to put this whole fraction into the inverse of sine. Now, again, as we figure this out, we are going to need to round to 4 decimal places because this is an intermediate step, so it's not our final answer. So on our calculator, again, make sure you are in degree mode. And then I'm typing in the inverse of sine first, so second sine, and then the top part, so 870 sine 62. Again, make sure you are closing your parenthesis. And then the divide key, 1,250. All right, so this is going to be 37.9179 degrees. Okay, so that gives me this angle right there. Now, I'm not going to write it in there because it's going to get really sloppy and kind of squishy together. But now I do know that angle. Okay. So now that I have two angles, that means that I can find that missing angle up there. So to do that, I am taking 180 minus 62 minus the angle that we just found. So minus 37.9179. So I'm going to type that into my calculator. So 180 minus 62 minus 37.9179. All right, so 80.0821. So that is this angle up there. Again, I'm not going to add that to my picture. Just know that this angle is this one. And then my green mark is for this angle. So now we have enough information to find what our question is asking for, which was the length of this side. So I'm going to use the given angle inside. So we would have the sine of 62 over 1,250 equals the sine from marker 1. So sine, and that's going to be this one down here. So 80.0821 over the side that we are trying to find. Okay. So cross multiplying, x sine 62 equals 1,250 sine of 80.0821. And then we would divide both sides by the sine of 62. So x equals 1,250 sine of 80.0821 divided by the sine of 62. So we are ready to put that into our calculator to find that approximation. All right, so 1,250 sine 80.0821. Make sure again you're closing your parenthesis. And then divide sine of 62. So 1,394.56. And again, we found the length of a side, and it should be in meters. So this is our final answer for that problem.